Sorry, second. Good evening, everyone. Today is Wednesday, November 13th, 2021. Welcome to the DJ Dani Show on HamiltonRadio.net, stream HR1. I'm sorry, November 3rd, not November 13th. We're not there yet. That's next week. I am so honored to have my guest here tonight. Everybody knows Francis Callier. I mean, when we see you, we know exactly who you are, just as a person and your character. I'm sure a lot of my generation knows you as Roxy from Hannah Montana. That is, the most iconic scene that I've ever had an actress yourself play, and it's just so fun to watch and be a fan of. So I am so thankful that you could be here today with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes. So, Francis, I wanted to just get a little bit started before we get into Disney Channel or anything like that. How you first got started in the acting business?
I started in high school, actually. I started acting classes at Second City. I thought I was going to go in Chicago. I thought I was going to learn how to be a stand-up comedian. And I walked in, and it was all improv comedy. Mm-hmm. And at the time, Chris Farley, Tim Meadows, like Bonnie Hunt, all those people were on stage. So they were my first cast, if you will. And it was so exciting and wonderful. And so that's how I got started. And I started teaching when I was 18 and did a bunch of touring with Second City, and then partnered with my my comedic partner, Angela V. Sheldon. We're Frangela as a duo.
Yes, I was going to say, we'll definitely talk about that too. I want to make sure we mention Frangela and all that information too. So basically, when you had gotten a chance to be into the industry, the acting industry, you said that you were a teacher. Were you an actor, like an acting teacher? Or did you
taught improv at Second City. And I ran the training center. I started the Chicago Improv Festival. Lots and lots and lots of improv. Lots.
Improv is the biggest thing to be as an actress. Like, you need to know improv right on the spot for just dead air.
All the time.
Yes. It's like you're always acting even when you're not, as you know that, for being an actress. So then shortly, just growing up, was it something that you enjoyed doing? Was it something that you saw yourself doing when you were going to be older?
Yeah, it was a passion. I literally, after my first class, walked into my home, turned off the television. My parents were watching TV. I turned off the TV, which you do not do in Black homes, okay? Let me tell you.
Were they mad at you?
that is you starting something up in here. If you gonna touch the TV, oh please. So I turned off the TV and I stood in front of the television. I told my parents, I declared, I was like, I know what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. And I did.
What did they say to that, though? Did they think you were crazy? Did what you remember?
Said, turn the TV back on. What they said.
So they weren't ready to hear that yet, basically.
No, whatever. Who cares?
Well, that's awesome. So you had an idea of what you wanted and you went with it.
Mm-hmm.
That was the start for everything for you.
Well, so, it was the first time where somebody had said, follow your dreams. Yeah. I mean, people said it, but I saw a pathway to doing it.
For yourself.
For myself.
Like, and others. Visioned it for yourself.
Yes, of course.
And then you brought everyone along with you.
That's right. Here we go. Let's do this.
So, did you, because you said that you were from Chicago and everything, did you ever have to move to like LA, for the industry?
I live in LA now.
You do? Okay. So you did have to move to LA because of the acting industry.
Have to is a really interesting phrase, right? I wanted to move to LA, right? And I think that for a lot of actors, people, will spend a lot of time trying to suss out where they need to be. And when I was in Chicago, I read a stat at the time, and I'm sure it's different because this is now 20 something years ago. I read a stat about how much of the industry, the working industry, television and film, happens, what percentage happens in Chicago, what percentage happened in New York, what percentage happened in Los Angeles. And when I saw that there was like maybe 8% of film and television happening in Chicago, which is a very large city.
Yes, yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a huge city. But if only 8%, if I, as a Black woman who is of a certain age, who only has access to certain roles,
Mm-hmm.
if the percentage is 8% for everybody,
yeah,
my sliver is maybe 0.5%
so
of an opportunity.
Reach out, yeah.
You
yeah.
have to
go out, yeah. So then from there, that was your step to where you wanted to move to LA for yourself.
Well, what happened was I was running the Second City Training Center in Chicago, and I was running all of them in the United States and in North America, and they asked me to move out to Los Angeles to open one here.
Okay.
So that's what brought me here. And I was in my 30s and I was not acting. What I was doing was I was a voice on an animated show called Hey Moni, and I had been for like 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
So I was in television.
Yeah.
But I wasn't acting professionally at all.
Okay. So it was more of like something fun, though, also using for your voice while you're doing something else that you love to do.
And then Angela and I got together and we enjoyed performing so much that I just was like, forget it. I'm going to do this.
And Frangela has happened.
Yes.
How did you meet up with her? Was she from Chicago as well?
She was we met at Second City. She used to live upstairs from me.
Oh, okay.
And so, yeah, she was a neighbor. So we became instantly best friends.
Now, when you hear Frangela, what do you exactly think of? What were you guys planning it to be? I know it's more of like stand-up, correct?
Yes. Well, like I said, we initially started out doing an animated show, improvising the script together. And we enjoyed it so much that we were like, why don't we, I'll never forget standing in the booth saying and proclaiming, if I could just have a job where I talk to my best friend every day and we don't have to get on the phone at the end of the day to tell each other about what happened in the day because we were together.
Yeah, right? And that's better because you both remember.
Right. And we both love everything, and we can talk about the day, talk about work, and talk about everything else. And I remember saying that, and that's what we did.
And from there, was it more of, it was what you both wanted to have happen?
Yes.
But it was more of what you guys were just trying to showcase to the world as well?
It's really actually about our own enjoyment.
Which is amazing, because you guys don't get that. A lot of people don't get that chance.
Yeah. We just really enjoyed performing together. And so we just kind of made ourselves a package deal. It's like, if you're going to hire one of us as a writer, you got to hire both of us. If you're going to generally hire one of us as an actor, you got to hire both of us.
I love that. Now I feel bad that I didn't have her as well. So now I need to have both of you on next time. So it's Frangela for real. She's probably like, Princess, are you doing a radio show right now?
No.
So being Frangela, as you both are with you and Angela, what is some, maybe comedy wise that you come up with, or is it just how you guys go about your day? Like, give me an idea of what you do on an episode basis.
Sure. So it depends on what we do, because Dani, we've done everything, right?
Yes.
So we have done sketch and written sketch. We were just a couple of years ago, we did Bring the Funny, I think. Yeah, I think that's what's the name of the show. But we did sketch. We do radio. So we've done radio for the last 15 years. We've had our own talk show called Me Time that was syndicated in 40 markets on television. We have written and produced television shows, lots of reality shows.
I love reality.
Yeah, we still have done years and years of stand-up, touring the United States back and forth for colleges. And so, it depends on what we're doing, but it all starts in talk. It all starts in an idea. We come from a social political background. So we enjoy doing things about society, scenes about society, politics, pop culture. We were on Best Week Ever for years on VH1. So, it depends on what we're doing.
Okay. So basically we'll start from when you guys were doing stand-up together.
Yes.
Where was that coming from? Was that stuff you had dealt with in the industry? Was that like friendship wise? Was it puns you guys had together that you could, laugh about, that you guys,
We're storyteller comedians.
Okay. I love those. Yes.
So that's, so we're not, like some people are joke writers, in that way. And they're joke. We are storytellers. And we come from, as I said, we're social political satirists. So our perspective is always talking about what's in the zeitgeist, be it popular, and our take on that.
Okay.
And so that's really the basis of our comedy.
I love that though, because you're doing it with your best friend and you're growing from it,
Yeah.
Now this best friend was like you grew up with, basically?
No. We met in our late 20s.
Okay.
Yeah. And like I said, became instant best friends.
That's the best because you have a good vibe with them. You enjoy their company. You enjoy their energy. And you want to be around them all the time.
Yeah, and she literally was my best friend. She was I've been with my husband 25 years. She was my maid of honor. She was there when my daughter was born. She was there when my mother died. You know what I mean? We're best friends. We're best friends first.
Yes.
Work partners second.
Yes. So that means if anything were to happen in the work industry, you guys can still fall in for being friends, which is amazing. So then I love that. I definitely want to have you both back on the show, though, for that. If you want to talk to Angela, we can schedule something we can. But I wanted to get a little bit involved with how you got interested in Disney.
Well, what happened was I was late one day and I was called in like the last minute to do an audition. And it was one of the auditions where it was just me and the casting director in the room. And if you're an actor, when you hit it, like you hit the right pacing in an audition, you hit the right tone.
Yes.
It feels right. And it was just a great audition. And they hired me. And that was it.
Now, with your audition, though, were you auditioning for playing Roxy?
For Roxy.
And did you get to, for yourself being Roxy, how did you portray Roxy? What did you want your character to sound like and be? Because when you audition, you have to sound like the character. You have to feel like the character.
Roxy is a crazy version of my mother.
Okay. I love Roxy. She's the best. The best also. Yes.
She's an out there version of like my mom on steroids, getting it done. You know what I mean? For sure.
So when you had gotten the role to play Roxy, I know you were like happy about it and everything, but you were like, oh boy, I really gotta think of more ideas to portray this character.
No. You just let it fly. It's like, once you've been a performer for a while and you want to perform and you want to get it out.
Yeah.
You want to push it out, and you want to play, it's, and that's what I am. I'm a comedian and comedians are clowns. We want to play.
And see, the funny thing is, before even having you, I did not know you were a comedian.
Yeah.
So the best part is, that's why it's so fun for you to bring up your characters that you had played before, because you're just like, it was just a fun experience, being on the show and getting a chance to repertoire different scenes or voices or,
Yes.
Your favorite lines, stuff like that. So,
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember any of your favorite lines with playing Roxy?
The one that everybody makes me say is Roxy like a puma. And I mean,
that's what I posted. So yes, that's a big one.
People will take videos, they will ask me to do it, and it's a pleasure, because if it makes you happy, if it's part of I'm so honored to be part of people's memories and things that made them feel good. It's lovely.
It is, and it was just fun for me growing up watching Hannah Montana and just getting to know each character and what their backstory is, who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just every show at Disney Channel has brought you to that option. And a lot of shows don't do that nowadays, like in my childhood or whatever it basically was. And it was just so fun to watch you, from being on Hannah Montana. And then I remember you from on Cory in the House, if I'm not mistaken, but it was like a flip of Hannah Montana on Cory in the House. Because weren't you working with Mr. President?
I did. That's right. You're absolutely right. You know what, girl? That's what's so funny is being an actor. That's me going to work, but people remember it in their iconography of television.
Yes,
and you have a better experience of me than I have of me, and that's what's wonderful about it.
Yeah, but I was going to say, because if I don't remember correctly, it was when I think Hannah didn't want you as her bodyguard and you were a bodyguard to him. Or like or something like that. Because I recently had him on my show last year, John D'Aquino.
Oh, wonderful.
And then I had Lisa, who was the person that worked with him, Kudrow, I believe. So yes, all my favorite shows. It's the best having you guys, because you know what? It's nice for me and a lot of my fans and the industry listening to watch how you guys grew up and how much hard work you have to put into things. People think that you could just get into an acting show that quickly and they get it, and sometimes they do right off the fly. But I'm sure it's audition after audition after audition for you guys.
Well, the story I love to tell is that for Miley and Emily.
Mm-hmm.
Those are people. Miley had been in. Her father was famous.
Yeah, Billy Ray Cyrus.
Yes. Okay, you got a famous dad. Here she was. She had been working since she was 4.
That's correct. Yep.
I mean, that's a long time by the time you're 14. And then when she and Emily, they had been auditioning and doing pilots where one was Emily was the star and Miley was the
they had to flip it. Yeah,
to flip it. So that had been going on for a few years.
Yeah.
So when you think about it, and that's just the way the cookie crumbled with Hannah Montana. It very easily could have been Emily.
You're right.
You're as the star.
Well, Emily has her own shows that she's star of now, though, too.
Yes. But I'm saying at the time.
Yeah.
And to your point about kids working hard and people, just time after time after time after time, trying. And then for whatever reason, this particular mixture is the thing that worked.
It did. It worked with Disney correctly. And I mean, thousands of fans still probably come up to you, like you said, and they ask you to say the famous word, the famous line. Mm-hmm. But for you, when you had first gotten into the industry of acting, did you have to do audition basically after audition, or was it a little easier for you where maybe you had gotten a job right on the spot?
Usually let me tell you something. I still have to go on auditions. I get calls now, but I still have to audition. And you will have to audition. Let me tell you something about auditioning. Mm-hmm. You're always auditioning. You're auditioning even when you've got the job. You're auditioning when you're coming in and doing your lines on the set. You're still auditioning. That process doesn't stop. That's part and parcel of being an actor. If you don't like auditioning, you don't like being an actor.
That's true. Yeah, it's a lot of hard work though too.
Yeah.
And the fact that they make you, depending on what you're auditioning for, monologue wise, you have to just make sure you know everything, either word from word or a scene, or they can change stuff on you too, right? If you go to an audition.
Yeah. Yeah. You will get, and it's the same thing but here's the thing. And you have to be prepared for that. And going back to improvisation, you will be on a set and then somebody will fly in pages that are completely different than the ones you've been rehearsing for the last 5 days. They go, nope, that joke's out. This scene's cut. We're sending after lunch. We're going to go do this. And you've prepared X, and now you've got to go do Y.
Correct. Yep. But they give you a little bit of time, right?
Sometimes they'll do it right there in the moment while there's an audience there. They'll come in and give you 5 new lines.
Okay. And then you just anxiety in any of this?
It doesn't matter, right? Because the whole point of being a performer is to be able to perform.
That's true. Well, with also being a stand-up comedian, you always have to perform, right?
You have to perform. You got to figure it out.
So what exactly, when you are a stand-up comedian, what are some, you can say something to me. What exactly is something as a stand-up comedian that you do on one of your shows?
So you mean in terms of being a comedian? Are you asking for, here's my question. Are you asking for material or are you asking for a process?
I am asking for material, please.
Oh,
well, I've never ever seen you on the backside of this.
Well, I'll send you some stand-up, but I work with somebody. But yeah, in terms of being a stand-up and material, like I said, right now we do a lot of stuff in the political space. And so, and I'm enjoying that a lot. I work with Stephanie Miller in the Sex Liberal tour. We just did the Survivors tour. You can go to sexliberal.com and get a ticket. And I really enjoy that. It's fantastic.
And it's a different kind of outspec for a lot of people, even my generation, that didn't know that you were a comedian.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to ask my father over here, Doc G, who's over
Hello?
here. When you watched Frances on TV, did you feel that she was a comedian at first, or did you know that she was portraying the character herself?
Well, I would say the character more, but I mean, I could see some comedic things in there.
Or wanting to grow up to be a comedian.
Yeah. I mean, you can see when a person's based in a comedy or whatever, you can see that they have that upbringing, and you can see they have that timing and the triggers, and you know what I'm talking about, Frances.
Sure.
You can see that, and and the character, it develops, and it's just like it gets better and it gets better and it gets better, and you're tweaking and you're tweaking. But yeah, I noticed that right away that you were awesome. You were an awesome actress, and as well as a comedian. So yeah, well-rounded.
So you had a better idea.
Yeah, I had an idea that she was, because again, sitcoms, comedy.
Yeah.
Who are you going to put in? You
That's
don't
true.
really put just for example, you don't put a non-comedic person in a sitcom role, but you can. They can grow into it. You know what I mean? As a TV producer, I see that with people, that you always try to bring in, different people that have different talents in different places, but comedy is always the base, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
You agree with that, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now with Frances, when you do comedy with Frangela, what is your rating basically? Like, is it explicit?
I can be. I'm a fan of cursing.
Okay. See? How would I know that?
I'm a fan of cursing. I will curse. I will curse up a storm, Dani.
You're probably kind of biting your tongue back then. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh,
But
yeah,
but it's not necessary. It's not necessary.
Right.
You know, it depends on what we're talking about. It depends on my passion level for the material. It depends on my outrage about it.
okay.
It depends on, my connection to it and how it reverberates in me. That's how it comes out.
Well, let me ask you this. Being an actress dealing with the pandemic that we are still in, how has that affected your career? How has that affected you personally?
Sure. I'll start with the first question, which is we were in a deal and getting ready to do stuff and what have you, and and we were at the top of February 2020 about to do a multi-city stand-up tour, right?
Okay.
Oh. We flew into Seattle and we had a meet and greet, huge sold out show. By the time we flew in on Friday, did the show Saturday night. When we flew in out Sunday, the state was being shut down for COVID because it was the first big outbreak. As I'm flying home and we're getting out, I've got COVID.
Oh, you did.
Somebody who's come to the meet and greet gave us COVID. So Angela and I had COVID for 6 weeks before there was even testing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
And then, of course, everything got canceled, of course, So, and everything shut down and everything came to a grinding halt. And so now I'm going to say since about July, things have been picking up.
Okay. So was it hard for you though after that? Because I know you said 6 weeks, you and Angela both had COVID besides dealing with yourself and your health. Mm-hmm. How did you guys get back on your feet?
Well, I just, you mean as performers?
Yeah, well, with your health being like that, just making sure you're okay first to go out or, get yourself.
Right. Well, that was over a year ago. So, but we went through COVID just like everybody else went through COVID at the top of COVID. It was scary. It was frightening. Mm-hmm. As a performer, as an entertainer, I'm sitting here going, oh my God, the fear was we may never be able to be in a room with an audience again. We may never I may never play to 500 or more people in my life, Again, those were the thoughts going through my head,
mm-hmm.
at the time. And it was frightening because I enjoy live performance. I feed off of it. It's my art. And that was scary. But now I just came back a couple of weeks ago. We did our first live show in over 18 months in Madison, Wisconsin, stand up house held about 800 people. We sold about 500 tickets, which meant for good spaced seating.
Yeah.
And people were vaccinated and people wore masks, and that was great. So there are safe ways for us to gather because I also don't want to perform at the risk of anybody being hurt.
That's true. You don't. Well, did you or Angela ever look into doing it like online?
Well, we did.
Okay, yeah.
We did. What we did was what we did to pivot when COVID came around was we started doing a live sketch. Not a live, but we started doing a taped sketch show that was virtual and we sold tickets to.
Okay.
So, and it was very successful. And when we were doing it, it was John Fugelsang, Hal Sparks, Stephanie Miller, us, and we put together a show, a half hour. No, it was more than that. It was like 2 hours once a month of new sketch material, and people enjoyed it, and we kept people entertained, and people showed up for it, and it was wonderful, And that's the thing about doing what we do. You find creative ways to answer what the issue is today. And that's improvising.
That is, and that's also being an actor. You know,
Mhm.
finding what the next step is for that as well. That's crazy.
Mhm.
It really is. Doc, do
Mhm.
you have anything you wanted to imply about?
Oh, me? I'm just enjoying the interview. I was just going to ask her one question. I probably can ask it later, but
No, you can.
do you have any thoughts or ideas or comments for people getting into comedy today? Or, you know, because be honest with you, there's a lot of subjects that people don't want to touch on when you get to a venue. Like, oh, please don't talk about this. Well, I have no comedy now. I have no material.
Political wise,
So,
is a big part
so
of it.
no, not just political.
Yeah.
A lot of other reasons. So, what are your thoughts on that to the people that are trying to come out as a comedian or whatever?
Sure. I'll say really quickly, first of all, is comedy has changed quite substantially since the Me Too era. And I think for the better, as a woman and as a woman of color, I think for the better.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, you know, just like every other thing that kind of boomerangs, what we've done is sit here and go, wait a minute, maybe we need to have some level of sensitivity and awareness about who and how we talk about people and subject matters.
That's a big part of it. Yes.
That's a big part. That's a big part of it. And I think that is good. And right now it's kind of, there's a tension about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it will relax back into a playful, we can poke fun at, or we can all laugh at this or something like that. I think we'll get back to that. But for people who are looking to get into this industry, who want to do this work, I say start with wherever you are. Start with the ground that is under your feet. If you're in a town or a city that has a class, or you can get online and take a class, take a class. Go out there if there's an opportunity. I don't care if it's community theater. Take advantage of what is available to you. Lived experience is better than dreaming about it and magical thinking.
That's very true. That's beautiful too.
Okay, so even if you have one line in a play, that's better to get up and physically put on the costume. Go on the audition, get the part, get the one line, go to the rehearsals, learn about being on stage, watch other people who got bigger roles than you, be humble, and go out there and do that one line. And then you'll do something that has 8 lines or 10 or TV or radio, or you'll the next steps will present themselves to you, but you must start walking the path.
I feel like I am a motivational speaker right now. You are like motivational speaking
right,
to all of us.
100% right. I agree with
She
her 100%.
I know. It's beautiful.
1000%.
And the fact is that you have, you know, because it's something that you dealt with, you know the steps, you know how to have people present it to themselves. What if it's more of a struggle to them that it's harder than it seems?
Fear.
Yeah.
Fear.
Big part of it.
Everybody's got fear. Everybody's got fear. Everybody has anxiety. Everybody, there's not a performer out here who doesn't have it. And there are performers, here's the thing. You are David and your fear is Goliath. And you have to stare it down. And when you're a performer, you get used to staring down your fears. It doesn't mean that you don't experience it. Doesn't mean that you don't have it. Doesn't mean that I put on my pants just like anybody else. I got the same 24 hours in a day, just like anybody else. There's nothing that makes me special. I got no special bones, no special cells. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I just have done it. I've had the lived experience and I know what that feeling feels like. And that becomes, and so what you begin to do is go, oh, yeah, there that is. All right, I'm a performer. Let's get down to doing my job.
So you basically just have to kind of mellow yourself out to
That's
getting into the role yourself, and
That's
just
right.
feeling it and trying to persuade yourself or do it.
And what you're allowing yourself to do is have fun.
Yes.
You're getting out of your own way. Right? Because the fear is yours too. But the fun is yours too. And you can have it. You know, you can have that fun if it's yours. But I think oftentimes what people stand around doing is stroking the fear and stoking the fear.
And it does affect a lot of people out there. I mean, look at a lot of social medias where people are trying to get seen. That's the closest thing that they can do right now, because either they're scared to go out, or, you know, COVID could be a huge thing in their town or their city. So it's a lot of restrictions right now for that too. So it's hard with that. Yeah.
But that's, I mean, fear in terms of anxiety and fear of performing.
Correct. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that also would be stage fright.
Yeah, stage fright. That's what I mean.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That would be the same thing as stage fright as well.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. I wanted to say, did you ever look into being a motivational speaker on top of everything else?
You know, people have asked me to be a coach and a motivational speaker. I'm a teacher, right? And that's where I use my that's how I motivate people.
Yeah.
And you know, I teach a storytelling class right now at Second City. And I enjoy it, and I love inviting people and showing people how to access their art, how to become better artists, because that's what I am. I'm an artist.
But you also had to take a lot of steps for yourself to get there.
Oh, God, yes. Let me tell you something. You don't want any information from somebody who ain't been through the fire.
What do you mean by that?
What I mean by that is when you're getting information, when you're learning from people, you want people who have overcome what you need to overcome.
It's true.
There's a lot of people who want to sit there and talk from a space of just don't, you know, it's okay. Just do it. Just do it. And just doing it isn't actually it's an action.
Yeah.
But that's actually harder for people to do, you know? So people who can give you a solid path through the fire, teaching you how to go walk through your own fire and come out on the other side whole is what you want.
And as a teacher, with what you're teaching right now, what ages do you teach? Do you have a certain class each that you have, or is it?
I teach adults right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because kids would love to work with you too. I'm sure you know that. But it would be hard to get their attention because they'd be calling you everything.
I've worked with kids. That's where I started. I've worked with all the populations. I love everybody, and I respect young actors. I respect, improvisation is, really for every age, So we've done it. I love everybody.
It helps a lot with anyone that has, I have ADHD. So it was more of a fact that it was just so much fun for me. Yeah. So much fun for me because sometimes I can't sit still, I like to be commonly always active doing something. That's why I have my radio show. I love to talk. So it's the fact that you meet certain people, and as you an actor, and me watching you when I grew up as well, and you've done acting classes and you're a teacher now, your path is, still going, obviously, but it's like you have so many things that you had to conquer before you got to where you are.
And you just, you that's exactly what it is. It's life, and you come up against things and you figure it out. You figure out the best pathway for yourself. And it's not always the same as everybody else.
That's very true. That's extremely true for a lot of my listeners out there. Man, Frances, how deep did we think you were going to be on this show today? You changed everyone's perspective and point of view out the window. It's so beautiful and
I
heartwarming.
want to know, does she have a favorite episode? Do you have a favorite episode of Haunted Montana?
One of the episodes.
I loved the one, I don't know what the name of the episode is, but it's the one where I'm doing yoga and there's feet behind me and it's my feet. It's not really my feet, but it's somebody else's feet. And I look like I'm really flexible. And I love that episode because I'm 8.5 months. For a lot of Hannah Montana, I was pregnant.
Oh. I didn't know that.
I was 8.5 months pregnant.
To the bump. Yeah.
Yeah, I was 8.5 months pregnant for a lot of it. Like for like 3 or 4 episodes. You know, and that's why I'm excited. I love those episodes because my daughter's in those episodes too.
Oh, that's so nice.
So actually, that episode, if I wasn't mistaken, Billy Ray Cyrus's character went on tour with that guy, right? His agent, and then you were babysitting Miley and Jason. Yes,
and we're in the bed. That's a really fun episode. Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny. And then you're like, we're going to go to the movies? I'm going to come too. Yeah. So, yes. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. I could just say
was there a lot of improv in Hannah Montana, or was it just all scripted? Because I know how sometimes
all scripted. All scripted.
It wouldn't let you go off a little bit here and there?
No.
Sadly, I think that's how Disney Channel is. They're strict, right?
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's fine. They have great writers and what have you. And it's a kid's show. Yeah. You know, it's not, you know.
You wanted to curse so bad.
What?
I said you wanted to curse so bad.
You wanted to curse so bad. And it's a kid's show. So in wonderful ways, they have a responsibility.
Right.
For the experience of those young actors, you know, as for the safety, their experience, the quality of their experience, the quality of people that they, you know, experience. All of those things are very, very important, and you know, and they're children.
Now I'm going to ask you this because I cannot remember, but I'm sure you might be able to. On Drake and Josh, we know you played Helen once. Do you remember what episode that was? Because I for the life of me, I can't.
I know. You guys see Red Brown, we always laugh, and she goes, "Hey, Helen." I go, "Hey, Helen." I can't remember what it was. They called me. She was busy one week, and they called me in to come in and do it. And I just don't even remember. Again, you know, and I know this sounds awful to say like this. It's like covering a shift at the Burger King a little bit. You know what I
mean? Yeah.
It's a little bit like that. I mean, it's wonderful. I love it. I loved it. But and also it's for me so long ago.
I know, you know? And I'm sorry to do that to you.
No, it's not an upsetting thing. It's just that, you know, you're an actor. You've done so much between then and the memory is like, oh, it's like putting a hamster on the wheel and trying to remember.
I was going to say, I thought it was the Ashley Blake episode, but I'm not quite sure. Was it a movie star?
Girl, I can't remember. Don't tell Francis Callier, but Francis Callier don't remember.
No, you're good. I will think of it and I'll text you if I remember what episode you were in for off air so I can know. But I want to give you this opportunity before we end the show soon that you have promotion. So this is if you have any social media or a website that you wanted to promote.
Sure. You can follow me at Frangela Duo on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. That's FRANGELA. That's Frangela Duo, DUO. And check out Inventing Improv on WTTW. Angela and I are in that right now. It's a great documentary on improvisation, native improvisation, and Chicago's best export. If you're into that, and go to sexyliberal.com to check out our pay-per-view show that we just did in Madison 2 weeks ago.
Beautiful. And you can also
I have a podcast called The Final Word and one called Idiot of the Week, which is hilarious, which you can also download at sexyliberal.com or wherever you get your podcast from.
Okay. Is it on Apple Podcasts as well?
It's on Apple Podcasts.
It's on Apple. Okay, perfect. Awesome. Dad, do you have anything closing words you want to say to Francis before we end?
Just if you can do us a favor and just do a promo for her show and the station, we'd appreciate that.
You got it.
Ed, you tell her what to say.
Okay. All right. Before we get ready to end this show, thank you again so much, Francis, for being here. I had a blast having you, getting to know you, seeing the sides of where you had the struggle, the stress, the anxiety, and where you are now. And, still loving your life, enjoying it, and looking beautiful as ever. So I just really appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, I was going to say within the rescheduling we had, I was like, oh no, are we ever going to schedule? Because I know we have so crazy schedules. So I appreciate that. If I could just get a radio promo from you. So you're just going to say your name. You could say a character or something from the character, anything you wanted to promote in that, or Frangela. And then you're going to say you're listening to the DJ Dani show.
Okay, you got it.
Okay, take it away.
Hi, it's Francis Callier Roxy from Hannah, Montana, and you're listening to the DJ Dani show.
Perfect. Well, and may we get one more for the station?
I'm going to tell her to redo it because you had a little blip there.
Oh, okay.
If she can do it.
Sure. What's the station? I'm sorry.
The station is called Hamilton Radio.
Hamilton Radio.
25 years.
He's had it for 25 years.
Wow. Congratulations.
How old are you?
I'm 24.
There you go. You're before she had it.
Oh, bless it. Bless it. Okay, ready?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Francis Callier Roxy from Hannah, Montana. You are listening to the DJ Dani show on the Hamilton radio station.
Perfect. And I was going to say another thing. If your comedy for Frangela isn't explicit and it's clean, we can also play it on Hamilton Radio. He likes to play comedy sometimes as well during the day.
Okay. It's not explicit, but yeah, it's political.
Yeah. I understand.
Yeah. Well, that's up to you. I don't know.
No, I understand. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
But thank you. Good. Best of luck with all you're doing. And it was a pleasure meeting you.
It's a pleasure to meet you as well.
Thank you so much for being here, Francis. I will reach out to you later in the week if you want to schedule you and Angela sometime. So Angela also, you guys can talk about how you guys met and, maybe any, just fun stuff you guys have working together. So thank you for being here.
Got it. Thank you. You have a wonderful day.
And you as well. Thank you.
Bye-bye.